good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, whatever the time is when you're listening to this podcast. And welcome to the first episode of Conversations with Stephen. I'm really happy that you are here, and I'm so much grateful that you have decided to take a listen to this podcast. And it is my prayer that you will really be, impacted greatly. Yeah, so for those of you who are wondering what this podcast is all about, let me just do a really brief introduction, just for a minute or two before we get into the first episode. Well, firstly, this podcast, as you should know by now, is for young people. And when I say young people, I'm not really talking about guys that are like 2 years old or 3 years. Of course not. I mean like growing teenagers who are evolving into adults and facing life. And we grow, and as we grow, a lot of things happen, and everything begins to make sense as we grow, and our mindset begins to change, and we begin to have more responsibility. Some people get into college at 18, some get into college before 18, some get into college after 18. But in this period, a lot of things happen. We have more responsibility, and that means we even have more challenges, because if you have more responsibility, that means we have more problems, and they can be financial, emotional, academic, and even spiritual. And honestly, they can be really overwhelming. Like, these challenges can be really overwhelming, and that's why we have this podcast. So welcome to Conversations with Stephen. So this is a niche where we talk about everything that has to do with young people. We can find solutions to our challenges and answers to our many questions. And maybe somewhere along the line, we will just feel good to be a young person, and out of all the hecticness in life. This is the first episode. So today we are going to talk about something that is really wonderful. And I have had personal interactions with this topic. I have personal affiliations with this topic, and so I can't really wait to get into the thick of the action. And of course, I have a guest with me today, so just stick around to hear from him. Okay. Today we're going to talk about patience and how it has to do with young folks like you and me. For the next part of the podcast, I'm just going to do the listening, and I'm going to let my guest do the talking. But I'm going to introduce him. His name is Excellence Elenwo. I've known him for close to 9 years. Wow, that's a really long time. 9 years, close to 9 years I have known him. He's a really wonderful and cool guy, and I respect him so much. And it's a privilege to have Excellence with me today. So he's a student in Nigeria. He's studying in Nigeria, and I'm just like myself, I am also a student. So Excellence, you're welcome to Conversations with Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. How is Nigeria today?
Quite to Nigeria. It's raining here.
Yes, very hot. Yeah. Yes. Today I went out, I was like, what is this? It was as if they are releasing heat from heaven. Like, the sun was not just, it was just heat. Like, the sun was giving light, but the heat was, Cyprus is so hot. Yeah, so I'm really glad to have you. So thank you so much for coming to this podcast.
Thank you for hosting me on your podcast. I feel so, let's say, uplifted.
No problem.
I feel honored.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Excellence, I want to ask you a question, because we have to get into the thick of the action. And so, are you a patient person? Like, honestly, do you consider yourself a patient person, Excellence?
Honestly speaking, I am not a patient person. Honestly speaking. Because it's not easy to be patient. There's nobody that you say, okay, this person is patient, and then he's patient through and through. Because at every point in anybody's life, you must surely have that impatient to just become impatient.
I see. So for you,
say I'm 100% patient.
I see. So for you, it's difficult, I guess, to be patient, right?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Okay. There should be reasons for this. Like, what's at the limit? Because if something is difficult for you, there should be a breaking point, and maybe that is your early breaking point. Maybe that is an early breaking point. Like, it is not too far off. So, to you, what is the limit to your patience? Like, what limits can someone get to, or can a situation get to that you say, okay, this is the extent? Like in Nigeria, they say, yeah, testing my patience, so don't test my patience. so what are the limits the limit of your patience, if I can put it that way? Do you get the question?
Well, the limit of my patience would be, say, if someone begins to question or begins to mar my personality. Like, do you understand?
Yeah.
And when someone begins to speak ill of my personality, of my attitude, or of maybe my general relations with people, because I'm this kind of open person. I'm what they call an open book. So if I let you in, that is like I tell you things and talk, and then after you now go around and start talking, brandishing me with different names and all that, making people to see me in a very odd light. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the things that trigger my patience. Let me just call it anger. Yeah.
I see.
I'll just get very angry.
See.
Another thing should be like this. What I call it? When something is taking too much time.
I see.
Another thing I would say triggers actually gets me the limit of my patience is when I become aware of the increased cost for pursuing a certain goal. You know?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I've set a goal.
The increased cost for what?
Increased costs for pursuing the current goal, like my goal.
I see.
That is becoming cost of time,
that's gonna be really difficult.
Money, yes. So just now, just get to the limit. Once I just know that the way the thing is, might not work out again.
What do you do in these times?
What I do is, most times I go to God. Yes, I go to God to prayer.
Very good.
It's help, because God is always the first point of everybody. Anybody, if you're facing any problems of being patient, go to God. Because He also has a patient with us. So if God not be patient, most of us will not die since.
But not true. honestly.
God is not patient because most of us youths will have been dead by now. So he's like calling the host of patience. So if you go to him, I go to God most times. Okay? I also seek advice.
That's a really great point there. Like that's wisdom from above. Seek advice. Yes, wonderful. Go on.
I seek advice from my parents, from friends, from my senior, like my elders, and my siblings, my senior siblings, my elders. Just help me through it and just keep on moving, keep on believing.
Okay. So excellence from what you have just said now, it is it is true from what you've said. I can infer that sometimes it's really super hard to be patient. Like it's not really easy to be patient, right?
Not sometimes, all the time.
All the time. What should I do now? Since all the time, like you have told us what you do yourself personally, like when it gets hard for you, you go to God, you seek advice and all of that. So what do you advise me to do? Like, or someone, like maybe say someone has worked for a man, or you have worked somewhere and then you are waiting for your money, and then this guy haven't paid you, and then you have debt and you need money from this guy who is owing you money. So what do you advise someone else to do? Like for you yourself, you seek advice and you pay. So what do you advise someone else to do?
What I would advise someone else to do is, okay, if you're in a very tight situation,
okay,
there's nothing you can do. If you believe in God, definitely, it's not everybody that believes in God. Okay. If you believe in God, I would advise you to go to God. Persons who do not believe in God, you should just steadfast. You understand? Okay, things are not working out. You need money to solve this problem. You need money to solve this other problem. Your village people are calling. Calm down. Just relax. Weigh the odds. Do you understand? Now, set this your needs in order of preference and look at them. Which one is most, let's say, which one is of the greatest importance? So you face that one first. Do you understand?
That's a really good idea.
Is it?
I see, that's a really good idea. Go on.
Okay. Then when you just get them according to their order of importance. From the first one of importance, because if it's an issue of someone's life, that is very important. You understand?
Yes, life is important.
It's utmost urgency, because without life, you cannot continue living. If you're not alive, how will you solve the many problems you have? You solve them one by one. Pool all your resources, or let's say, I won't call it all, maybe most of your resources, to solving that problem first. Because, let me say, this life now, when problems come, it's just like building a house. You have to start from somewhere. You have to start from the foundation. You can't build an upstairs and start throwing the block up. You understand? You need to start from the ground floor.
That's a really great point there. That's wisdom. Yes, go on.
Do the roofing. You can't just stay from down and then put plaster on the block, throw it up and expect it to hang up and say you have started building your house. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
From the important things. So I think that would be my advice.
Wow, that's really great. Wow, I'm really wow. Like we've just gone. We have gone halfway. Wow, but I've learned so much. Wow, thank you so much, Excellence. Wow, I've learned from this. How do I increase my patience? Like, honestly, sometimes they can get out of their patience. Like, they can get impatient, and it can be really hard. Some people sometimes they when they are not able to control themselves, they can, some people, they break stuff. Some people, some even have depression, like when it has to do with finances, and then you're waiting for someone to pay you. Some can get depressed. Some even commit suicide. Like, there are some people that they had issues with their wives, and they had issues with their husbands. Okay, we are young people. Okay, we don't have wives or husband. Yes, we are young people. Okay, so some people had issues with their academics, like in college, in university, and then there's this lecture that. So what can someone do to increase your patience? Like, is it possible to increase your patient limit? Like, your patient limit, is it possible?
Everything in life is about practice.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Because the same practice makes perfect. So even if you are patient, you can't be 100% patient. You still have to practice that patience on and on and on. Wow. So you are giving instances of people having their patience triggers now. You understand? Like, they're having financial problems, or they're having problems. I advise you to just understand that no matter how bad your situation is, there is always someone else that the situation is worse than you. Do you understand?
Yes, so I do.
It shouldn't be a point for you okay, start breaking. If you break things, you will still buy it back. That's the worst part. Or if you say you want to kill yourself, there are a lot of things to enjoy in this life. I don't see why anybody should do that.
Yeah, that is very true.
Plug in your earpiece, take a walk, and just think. Just move through like situations of life.
Then you can also involve God.
Involve God. As you're walking, talk to God, or talk to yourself, talk to your inner man, and then understand what's happening. By the time you have taken that walk for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, you see that you will have calmed down. You understand? And your mind, all that depression, just calm down. And then you can now start to find the solution to your problem at that point.
Wow, that's really mind opening and eye opening. Thank you so much. So from what you just said, it is important that when we are patients, we should do something. Like, we shouldn't just be patient and be idle. At least we should involve someone. We should do hard work.
Don't be idly patient. Just try to do something. Because if you're idly patient, most people that claim to be patient, they end up being depressed people. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
Because they will just be patient and then they will just sit down and be looking and be taking in the insults. But you see those people, at a particular day, at a particular time, they are going to explode. All the things that they have been locking in and keeping in, they will finally let it out. And when they let it out, it's going to be very chaotic. Both to themselves and to the person they are letting it out on. So it's best to just, while you're being patient, keep yourself busy or keep yourself occupied while you're being patient.
So that you won't get depressed.
So that you won't get depressed or you won't start thinking of different ways to mar yourself.
Wow. Thank you so much. So much. Wow, this is really wonderful. I am really enjoying myself. Thank you so much, Excellence. God bless you. I have one more question and then I will give you a chance to say what you have to say. If you have something to say, summary, or maybe if you have a question for me, anything. But just this last question I have for you. You have just talked about how I can increase my patience and how I can, help myself and how I have to be doing something and not be idle while waiting. So that's really wonderful. So how do I know if how can I is there like a thermometer for my patience? Like, can I know if I'm getting more patient, or like, do I know if I get more patience, and how do I know how do I know that I'm improving on my patience?
How do you know if you're improving on your patience?
Yeah.
It's something natural. Okay, let's say if something like before now, if someone was to slap you at the back of your head, immediately you stand up and then you have thrown a blow at that person or you have beat the person up or something. But you see that in coming times, somebody slaps you, you just wait. Like, at least there will be this, let me say, 2 to 3 seconds gap where you will just think about your action. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, there will be a thought about your action. You'll be like, should I hit this person? Just that 2 or 3 seconds gap is what will just calm you down, and then you'll be like, why? Or you just ask the person, why did you do that? Do you understand? Even if you might ask the person why aggressively, but then the fact that you didn't stand up and then blow the person back as usual means that
I see.
Patience, I started working with the patient.
So it is not the improvement is little by little.
It's gradual. It's not
gradual.
Not immediate. Gradual. Because most times when our patience is triggered, it comes out from our subconscious. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
Like, patience is something that is from your subconscious. Like, you don't like when something immediate happens, how you react. Not everybody has control over it. Because most people, if you were to just slap them at the back of the head, they might immediately pick something up like it. Some people, if you slap them at the back of the head, they will come back and slap you back. Some people, if you slap them at the back of the head, they will wait and then they'll pursue you. You understand? They'll chase after you and they'll beat you up. If you slap them at the back of the head, they will count it. That is, they won't do anything. They will count it. So the day that
so this is the 10th time.
Do double of that. You understand?
Yeah.
It takes practice. Patience. Not something that you can force.
Thank you so much. Wow. Like, it is really mind-blowing and mind-opening. I have learned a lot today. Like, honestly, I've really learned a lot. Thank you so much, Excellence, for coming to this show, for accepting to be on Conversations with Steven, and thank you for being here. Thank you so much. So, what do you have to say in summary? Like, what can you say about patience? Like, maybe you have a little advice to say, or just anything I have to say about patience. Yes.
Okay. Well, patience is, I would call it, is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay. Problem to tolerate delay. Problems, that's like things that are bothering you. Then suffering, because people suffer. Because you can be suffering one disease or the other, and be like, just take my life, just kill. But your ability to accept, your ability to tolerate, your ability to persevere through all those pain without becoming, let me say, annoyed. That is patience. That is patience, because
wow.
Patience, but you can't force patience at all.
I can't force it out.
Patience, it has to do with endurance. Do you understand? It's the ability to endure.
So someone that is not going through anything cannot even be patient. So like, you have to have a problem before you can even talk about patience. And then the problem you have to
have a problem.
Oh,
you don't need to have a problem.
Wow.
You need patience all your life. You don't need to have a problem to have patience. You need patience because you don't know when. If you are waiting for when the problem will come before you have the patience, it will be too late because your impatience will just act out.
Wow.
Do you understand? If you're waiting for when the problem to come.
Wow, this is so.
I'll just call patience. Patience. There are many things you can call patience. Many things of patience.
Okay. We just
even in your daily dealings with persons, you have to be patient. In relationships, like for those those of us who are young and in relationships, you need patience in your relationship. That is because there was a write-up I saw sometime. They say patience is a practice in trust. That is, to trust somebody, you have to be patient with that person. Like, you have to study that person, be patient with that person before you can trust anybody. No matter who, whether that person is your mother, your father, you need to be patient with them. You have to trust them.
Wow. Thank you so much, Excellence. So today we've learned a lot about patience. I hope that our listeners also learned a lot, like really a lot. Wow, so much. Well, just as we've heard, we have to wait. There are times when we have to wait, and of course, when we're waiting, we don't have to wait idle. You have to keep yourself busy. You have to do something. Just like Excellence, just like Excellence just said some few seconds ago, patience is a practice in trust. Just like our guest said, if you have anything to do it with the hope of your expectation. Like you have to do something. You have to keep yourself busy, even when you are waiting for something. Take a walk. Listen to music. We've learned about patience and the importance of activity while waiting. And to help you with that is to our listener out there. Maybe you want more help and you want to know more about this, there is a free ebook for you. Yes, it is titled Make It Happen. Just as we discussed today, when you're patient, you have to do something. And sometimes waiting can be boring, but there is a possibility to make things happen, Living the life of your dreams is very, very possible. And although it is good to wait and hope for the best, you can make something happen. So this ebook is a free ebook. It is titled "Make It Happen." I'm going to add the link to the description if you are on YouTube, and for those of us that are listening via a streaming site like except YouTube, I'm going to add the link in the link tree. Like you can go to www.linktr.ee/CWS20 to find a link to this book. The book is called "Make It Happen," and it is free. The link is www.linktr.ee/CWS20. Excellence, thank you so much. Like, honestly, wow. Like, when I was preparing for this episode, I was like, oh, Excellence, it's going to be a privilege to have you. And then when you accepted, I was so honestly, I was so mind blown. Thank you so much for coming to Conversations with Stephen.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you for hosting me on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
So honored because this is the first episode of the podcast.
Yeah, this is the first episode.
To open the door, opening the door for other sessions to come in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and if you're listening, like if you literally listen to the end of this episode, like you are so close to my heart. If you are still listening to this point, thank you so much. From the depth of my heart, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. If you have a question, if you have a suggestion, maybe you have a suggestion how to make the episode better, or you have a question, maybe a question to ask me, or to ask Excellence, or you have a suggestion or a topic you feel we should discuss on here, you can send me an email. The email is cwstephen20@gmail.com. That's cwstephen20@gmail.com. Thank you so much again to our hosts, to my guest, Excellence. Thank you to all the listeners that listen out there, and I wish you all a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week ahead. So goodbye, Excellence, and have a great weekend and a week ahead. Yeah. See you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.